The path is your own journey.
Right.
The initiate has to go on its own journey. And you can't take nothing with you. And you at the goddamn crossroads. And the crossroads is, are you ready to go to the next level?
Yeah.
Because guess what? I can't take you to the next level. You got to make that decision.
All right, so it's a must that I spin a block again and speak on spiritual warfare, because this is such a vast subject to unpack, and it's always necessary because we're always at war. And the reason why I always say that we always at war spiritually is because we are always unaware to a certain extent. It's always something that we can't see. When we talk of spirits, we talk in the unseen realm, right? So it's always something that's in our blind spot that can use us as a vehicle. It's always something in our blind spot that could use us as a vessel. And we could call these things spirits. Some people call it energy. I think, both of them kind of synonymous. I'm not going to go too deep into that bag. But when we talking spirits, we talking energy, right? So we got to move out of the realm of right and wrong, good, bad, evil, and things like that. Negative and positive. When we talking about spirits, when we talking about energy, we talking about the function of how these things work, right? For example, when we say dark or negative energy, we only speaking to the spaces that are unseen, the spaces that we haven't discovered yet, the spaces that we haven't explored yet. So that would be dark. That would be negative. Also, when we talking about negative energy, we talking about it in density. We talking about the feminine aspect. We talking, like I said, we just talking about the unseen, the internalized space before it manifests, so you can see it, hear it, touch it, feel it. You feel me? So it's not about morality. So when we talking about light or positive, we talking about density also, lighter in density, lighter in weight, lighter in the feeling of just feeling lighter, like you got a weight off your shoulder. You get what I'm saying? Light meaning bringing awareness to something. You feel me? Because when we talking about spirituality, right, and we talking about spiritual warfare, we got to be careful. We got to be careful to get out of, like I said, the realm of morality and what's right, wrong, good and evil and things like that. Because when you get caught up in that, you could get lost. We have to understand that good, bad, evil, things like that are all subjective to the person, to the spirit that's in the vehicle. So we all are spirits. Hopefully we all have a soul, but we all are spirits, meaning we have an unseen animated part of ourselves that drive this vehicle, right? Now, it's important to talk about what I mean by vehicle or vessel. You are a vessel. Your body is a vessel. Your body is a vehicle for the spirit, right? And you have many bodies. So you got an emotional body, you got a pain body, you got an etheric body, you have a physical body, you got a spiritual body, you have a mental body. And just like your physical body, depending on how you maintain it, is dependent on what's going to be able to invade, infiltrate, and just pretty much use and drive that vehicle for its own agenda. Now, when I say agenda is synonymous with function. Because remember, we're not talking about right or wrong, because it's subjective. So, and I don't want to get too ahead of what I'm saying, but, it's subjective. So depending on what the agenda is of a person, something that might be bad to you might be good for them because it serves their agenda. You get what I'm saying? And that's just how spirits work. So let's look at spirits and spiritual warfare like almost like a Uber app. You feel me? When you turn on the Uber app or a Lyft app, you look for the nearest driver. You pick the nearest driver that's going to get to you the fastest, so you could use that driver's vehicle to get to where you want to go for your own agenda. You get what I'm saying? That driver don't know if you're going to a trap house. That driver don't know if you're going to work. That driver don't know if you're going to cheat or whatever the case may be, but it is being used as a vessel. That's the clearest way I could explain spiritual warfare. So spirits jump from body to body the same way we jump from Uber to Uber, vehicle to vehicle. Now, when we talking about vessels and we talking about vehicles, we talking about them on all dimensions, especially the unseen dimension. A lot of people that believe in a vague idea of God or believe in science and things like that, they don't believe in the unseen realm. They don't see that things manifest first in the unseen realm before they actually come to life, right? So a lot of people, you got to spell shit out for them. A lot of people got to feel it before they could know what's going on. So an idea is a spirit. A feeling, that's a spirit. We got all type of spirits. We got the spirit of, let's say, jealousy, right? So how does the spirit of jealousy use someone as a vehicle? That person would have to be prone and already have certain insecurities that would allow space for a jealous spirit to inhabit that its vehicle. You get what I'm saying? So just like the Uber app, the spirit goes say, oh, okay, this person got insecurities about from when they grew up and they got traumas, unhealed traumas and unhealed wounds like that. This is a good vehicle for me to use to express that, to function, because the spirit just want to function. And a lot of time a spirit need, sometimes it likes to use the physical vessels if it's allowed to, or like just the mental vessels, but it has to manifest. Now, here's the thing. When we talking about spirits and we talking about energy, you can take the energy of, let's say, jealousy, right? And turn that into the energy of support or compassion or being open or the opposite of just not being jealous, being happy for people. How do you do that? You would have to interface with that spirit. You would have to deal with the insecurity. You would have to deal with the insecurity so that now, once you deal with the insecurity, you have a security guard standing front, right there. So when a jealous spirit try to come in, there's no way for it to get in. And another, like I said, spirits only going to inhabit bodies that they are able to. They don't have no preference. Their only preference is to use a vehicle that they can function in. You gotta follow me, because we have a lot of family, friends, people in our environment, people we work for, all kinds of shit. And we function on a day-to-day, and we got to understand that these people have spirits that inhabit them, just like we have spirits that inhabit us. I like to deal with lighter spirits now. And also sometimes I have to deal with darker spirits depending on what I'm discovering or interfacing within myself. You feel me? So it's basically like, you know how they say, face your demons? The only reason why something could be a demon to you is because you're unaware of it, because you're afraid of it, because you don't have no knowledge of it. You feel what I'm saying? So like I let's say the spirit of overeating or gluttony or greed or something like that. It's been times where, and it's still times where I overeat, or I allow the spirit of greed to utilize me as a vehicle and just do a little bit too much, talk a little bit too much, want a little bit too much. Spirits work through, like I said, your desires, your ideas, your feelings, your emotions. They use any vehicle they can use so they can manifest and just function, like I said, how they want to function. It ain't really personal. So these would be familiar spirits. The reason why they would be familiar spirits is because they go inhabit familiar spaces that they're used to, that they can function in. Also, to go further, and this is what I really want to talk about, is when we talk about familiar spirits, we have spirits that have followed us for eons and eons and eons that we have pretty much been at war with in other lifetimes. You know, this ain't for everybody, like I always say. So we have spirits that has followed our lineage, has followed our bloodline. This is where you get the phrase generational curse breaker, where a person finally faces the spirits that's been following and plaguing his family with narcissism, with selfishness, poverty, just whatever. You know what I mean? Just killing. You start to interface and engage with the idea of things, the thought of things, the feeling of things before you allow it to just use you as a vehicle. So you become the generational curse breaker. So and let me just go deeper into that. So for example, like I come from a family where it's a certain type of way of thinking. It's a certain mentality. It's a certain way of living. It's a certain way that you even supposed to feel amongst the family. It's a certain function. Because my family and everybody's family has been inhabited by energy, by spirits, by a certain way of doing things, certain way of thinking, certain way of feeling, like I said. So as I come here as a spirit, I realize like, nah, this function is not functional for where the space I want to head into, the dimensions that I want to head into, the things that I want to do to my own agenda. So I want to change that function. How do you change that function? We go back to, you have to literally engage with the spirit, engage with the energy, and more importantly, transmute the energy. How do you transmute the energy? You're going to have to feel it. You're going to have to see it. You're going to have to literally engage with it and not become it. One of the biggest spirits that we deal with is the spirit of fear, the spirit and the spirit of lack. And that's how a lot of us get used collective, just especially on the collective level. We get used as vessels and vehicles to be scared and carry out certain things. Like I always say about like that pandemic that just passed, where everybody got fear mongered and the fear campaign came on to where everybody was kind of pushed to do specific things and take vaccinations and just be in a state of fear so that they will function through fear, because that's a spirit. That's a very big spirit down here in the third dimension. So like I said, when you want to transmute the energy, you interface with it. You see what it is. You don't condemn the energy. You don't name the energy. You don't have to call it nothing. You just deal with it as it is. For example, like I said, my family I grew up a certain way. So we all taught certain things, certain ways of perceiving the world, certain ways of looking at things, certain ways of feeling and doing things, right? So I realized that is not cohesive and it doesn't correspond with how I am at my core. It doesn't correspond with how I like to think, how I really like to feel when I'm in my most relaxed state. So I had to begin to see these spirits, begin to talk to these spirits, begin to deal with these spirits and not turn a blind eye to them, not condemn them, because then I would lack the information of what the spirit's function is, and the spirit would be able to use me rather than me be able to use the spirit, me be able to transmute that energy, or me to just get rid of the spirit, period. And the spirit flees when it has no vessel or no vehicle to inhabit. So a lot of times you have to, all the time, not a lot of times, you have to remove the void. You have to remove the insecurity within yourself so that the spirit has nowhere to house itself. And then you'll be a better vehicle moving forward into higher dimensions, that you'll meet spirits that function on the same frequency and the same vibration you like to function on. Follow me. So that you'll meet what we might call more angelic spirits. You will have more angelic thoughts. When I say angelic, I just mean thoughts that are cohesive and correspond to your function, your agenda. Now remember this, it's another side. So it could be people that you might look at it that are evil, that have evil thoughts and evil plans and plans that don't correspond or function with what you like to do or who you are or what you believe in or your belief system. But still, they might look at those spirits that they talk to and they deal with and that inhabit their vehicle as angelic spirits, because it feeds their agenda. So it's like I said, it's not about right or wrong, not about good or bad, not about evil. So when we dealing on this third dimension, this is very important. We cannot just be looking at people as they are. We cannot just be looking at anything as it is. Everything is spiritual. We living in a time right now where it's very, very, very important that you have your spiritual eyes on, that you cultivate in some form of a spiritual awareness so that you can see the thing from the unseen realm and deal with it, engage with it there, and see if you see the function of it and see if you like to deal with that before it manifests in your real life and become a part of you. Now, a lot of people don't have this awareness. So a lot of people are what we might call possessed, meaning they are totally possessed by the spirit, meaning to them, whatever that spirit is in them is one. They're married. So they don't even realize, like, oh shit, I'm being used as a vehicle. You feel me? Like, it was certain places I used to hang, certain things I used to do. We all go through these stages to where we finally say, okay, it's time to put that down and move on. That's us. We have dealt with the spirit. We have interfaced with it. We've engaged with it. We've got certain circumstances and consequences that have been derived from that experience. And we say, okay, I don't want to deal, like, I don't want to do that no more. Like, it could be simple as you just stop smoking cigarettes. A lot of time when people do things like they stop smoking cigarettes or they just quit certain habits, it's never about the actual habit. It's always about what's going on the unseen realm. So you pick up certain habits because of certain spirits that you engage with. So you might engage with a lot of stress throughout your life. You might engage you might be plagued with a lot of anxiety and insecurities throughout your life, so it could make you become a smoker. You might have dealt with somebody dying around you, whatever the case may be. These are all energies. These are all spirits. So it'll cause you to be nervous or whatever the case may be, cause you to become a smoker. Nobody just smoke because they just think smoking cool and they just want to smoke. You know what I mean? It's an addictive behavior. And that's how spirits play out. Spirits play out through our behaviors. So, furthermore, like I said, we need to be careful how we just look at things, how we look at people, and not look at what's there. We have to look at why it's there. We have to look at how it got there. We had to look at where did it come from? Where is it going? When did it come? You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So for, like, we have cousins, we got people around us that are by default influences. They are spirits. And spirits use them as vehicles every day. Nobody is exempt. It's all fear and warfare. So you could have a cousin, a family member, a girlfriend, and things like that you might be fighting these spirits. You might be at war with these spirits. You might not allow these spirits to inhabit your body. So what's the next best thing? The spirit is going to use the vessels around you to antagonize you. It's going to use the vessels around you to still get its agenda done. So it could be as simple as something as a suggestion. Like I might be into something real serious or whatever the case may be, or something I like to do, something that's not dealing with just mainstream shit, right? And I, a person could come around me and start talking. That person talking, and that person might not be talking about shit. That person might just talk about what happened on Sports Center all day. You feel what I'm saying? And if I indulge in that conversation, I allow myself to be used as a vehicle just to get off the path that I'm on, to get off my own agenda and get off my own function, and now I'm on somebody else's function. Follow me, because this is something that you can't escape. And the thing about it is this: whether you're aware of it or not, it's still happening all day, every day. Even the spirit of me coming and speaking and talking about this is me allowing certain ideas to manifest through me, certain beliefs, certain experiences and things like that, certain spaces that I have already engaged with. I'm telling you about it. You know what I'm saying? So we all get used as vehicles for some reason. That's why we even talk about shit like, yo, what's your purpose in life? We got many purposes on different days. Sometimes my purpose is just to wash the laundry, to lift the energy in my house, to sweep. You know what I mean? Like, it's spirits inhabit any space they can inhabit. It's about being able to stand guard in your bodies, in all of your bodies, in your mental body, your physical body, and everything, so that you're doing inventory as thoughts come in. You're doing inventory as feelings and emotions happen. You're able to sit with them, feel them, and engage with the spirit, and not just be used as a vehicle. Like if you ever saw the movie Fallen with Denzel Washington, where spirits would jump from body to body to body. Or when you look at the Matrix, you see, all these agents, and they just shapeshift and shit like that because they're able to use different things, animals, babies, all type of things, to influence what's going on in your environment. Like I said, when I was younger and more impressionable, I was able to be used for other agendas, even if it was just a toy I wanted on TV. A commercial come on and I say, "Oh, Grandma, I want that toy right there for Christmas. This is what I want." I've been possessed and been used as a vessel and a vehicle to help someone else's agenda. You feel what I'm saying? So now I got Grandma at the groceries. I got Grandma at the Walmart or whatever the case may be. Now she's buying and spending our money on a toy, which is going to feed whoever make that toy agenda, so they could get richer, or they could distract, or whatever the function is. But like I said, it's all fair warfare. So we living in a time right now that if you just seeing things just as, oh, okay, that's just that, or this person said this and that's just the end of that, is very dangerous. You got to be able to check the spirit. I just recently was being antagonized by the spirit of just drama, the spirit of just arguing and not getting to just emotional spirits that just inhabit certain vessels around me. So instead of me engaging with the person how I usually would engage with this person, I was able to sit, be patient, stick to the facts, stay out of those emotional spaces that I'm trying to be dragged in, stay out of the spaces of drama, and stay on track to my own function, to my own agenda. You feel what I'm saying? So now as this person trying to drag me in an argument and get me all worked up and get me all angry like they used to, I'm showing these spirits that used to inhabit my vessel that y'all can no longer stay here no more. Y'all gonna have to stay over there in that vessel, or find another vessel or another vehicle to use. And like they always say, opposites attract. So as soon as you have your own function, as soon as you have your own agenda, it's always going to be spirits that's going to work against your agenda just by default, just because of their own function and their own nature. Just like a gazelle and a lion. I mean, a gazelle have a purpose on earth and a lion got a purpose on earth, but when it's time for the lion to eat, then the gazelle become prey. The gazelle become a vehicle to be fed to the lion. For the lion's function, for the lion purpose. It's not personal though. That's why I want people to understand it's not personal. So we don't get caught up all in that witchcraft, evil shit. And don't get it fucked up. It's a lot of people out here that do use bad. They have what we would call bad intentions or negative intentions, meaning they're willing to be used by jealousy, be used by envy, be used by hate. They're able to be vehicles for that and aim that hate and jealousy and envy towards you. But you got to understand it's not personal, because the minute you see it as personal is the minute that you lose the war in itself. Now, what is our number one go-to weapon in spiritual warfare? Awareness, but also your imagination. You have to be able to imagine yourself moving on in a different function as you used to, so you're able to move away from the spirits, so you're able to see the spirits and you're able to be aware of them. So imagination and awareness is like the number one tools that you would use. That'd be the go-to move. Pull my sword out. Oh, I see you. You know what I'm saying? And once you do that, certain spirits can't fuck with you no more. So, but we always being tested. There's always somebody that's an asshole on the road. There's always somebody that's an asshole in the coffee shop. There's always somebody that's antagonizing us. There's always somebody that's functioning how they're functioning. Their function might be dysfunctional to how we like to function, and therefore they could be a demon in our life. You feel me? So as you begin to rise up and you begin to, inhabit your own vehicle with your own spirit and do your own maintenance and inventory on your vehicle, right? You're going to be seen by all of the spirits that used to fuck with you, all of the spirits that used to use you, and you're going to be seen by new spirits that want to fuck with you and antagonize you and get you off track, and not just because they evil, just because their function is what their function is, like I said, and that just them functioning how they function is going to get you off your path, right? So knowing this, you have to have a keen awareness, and really pretty much at all times, but we all fall short, that we're dealing with spirits, not people, not just human bodies. I done ran into all type of spirits. I done ran into what we would call a Jezebel spirit, so just where you meet a person that's just, parasitic and feeding off you. And a lot of times, like I said, is by default, people feed off people because of their insecurities. A lot of people need certain things validated. A lot of people can have certain needs that they need met, and they don't even realize that they're using other vehicles, other people for these things. So you could be literally used as a vehicle by someone else, period. Like I said, spirits use other spirits to use other spirits. And it's just the way shit goes. It's just a function. And that's why it's war, you know what I mean? What happened when the United States want to go to war with somebody else, or whatever the case may be, is because they have an agenda, and this other person's agenda do not align with their agenda, so that it become a war. So I ain't into just listening to what a person's saying. I'm looking for what's behind that. What's the motivation for what you're saying? What inspired you to say that? Where did you get that thought from? Where did you get that idea from? What frequency is you on? What vibration is you on to even have that thought? So it's like when we talking about just the thought realm, right? Let's look at it like a store, right? Let's look at thoughts and shit like that and ideas as Walmart. You've been to Walmart before, so you know what's in Walmart. You know it's certain things that come out of Walmart, certain things that a person could buy. So when you see these things, you're going to be saying, oh, I know where you got that from. You got that from Walmart. I just was at Walmart the other day. So I'm saying that to say you've been in those spaces before, in your own thoughts, in your own emotional time, in your own time when you're in your imagination, in your own dreams. You feel me? You've been in those spaces before, so you know it's only a certain amount of things that could come out of that store, out of that thought realm, out of that space. So you have become familiar with it. And familiar spirits like to entertain familiar spaces. So it's important to become familiar with these spirits because they're going to manifest through different people. You got to be able to see the same spirit in a different person. And every time you, like they say, you reach a new level, it's a new devil. Meaning it's going to be it might be a new spirit with a new agenda, with a new function that's going to try to do what it do. And you're going to have to be able to see that, understand that, and be able to deal with it accordingly. You feel me? And that's why I said, like, when people be talking, when people come around, when people around you, you got to be on point to the influences that are being projected onto you, because spirits are always trying to maneuver you for their best interest. And that's why we live in a world where everybody just pretty much narcissistic, because everybody have their own agenda. They've been taken over by their own desires, their own wants and needs and fears and insecurities and doubts and shit like that. They don't deal with it They don't interface and engage with the spirit. They think they are that spirit. They think they are that thought. They think they are that emotion and feeling. And they think they are the action. They are the job. They are the relationship. You know what I'm saying? They are the amount of money that's in a bank account. They are the car, the house, or whatever the case may be. They so caught up in the third dimensional realm. They so caught up in just what you can see, touch, feel, and taste, the five senses, the ego, that they can't see beyond that. They can't feel beyond that. And that's why spiritual warfare is very real and is very dangerous right now. So even when you look at like the government, or you look at the president, or you look at certain establishments have certain policies. They have certain rules, regulations, terms, and conditions. So when you go into that establishment, for example, like a job or something, you sign yourself up for whatever that terms and conditions are. You agree to them. So now you're being used as you could be using that job as a vehicle to get whatever you need, and also that job will be using you as a vehicle to get whatever it need to be done. Some people don't realize this, that they being used as a vehicle for someone else's agenda, and they never get to their own agenda. They never figure out what their own agenda was. Or they so caught up in talking about somebody else's agenda, or breaking down, like for example, I'm talking about this shit right now. It's going to be somebody that's going to come on here and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't even make sense and shit like that. This shit going to go way over their head, and they're going to be so worried about the misunderstanding. Then they're projecting on me and not realize that they're the ones that can't see. They're the ones that can't understand what I'm saying, because they're not on the frequency that I'm speaking on. They don't want to be, or certain spirits and certain things that's blinding them from it, or the things that I'm saying might be triggering them to, or the spirits that inhabit their vessel to feel some type of way, to feel like, oh, fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's another reason why you just gotta do what you do, learn how to be you, and forget what everybody else saying, because people are not even them fucking selves. You know what I'm saying? People just full of ideas and feelings and emotions that they haven't even done inventory on. So when they spew it out or they express it, it matter, but it really don't matter if you a spirit that can see, if you a soul that can see. So with all that being said, I want to, harp back on the point of awareness and imagination. It's good to use your imagination to see yourself and put yourself in spaces that you're not in physically, that you might want to be in. You feel me? And it's very important to have intentions on being aware. How do you do that? You test the spirit. You question shit. You first start with questioning yourself. So if I'm eating a lot of candy bars, which I do a lot of times, I'm like, damn, I see myself just grabbing for another candy bar, and I'm like, okay, this is me grabbing for the candy bar, but what's inspiring this? When we talk about inspiration, we talking about being in the spirit of something. So what's inspiring me to grab this candy bar? What am I trying to ignore? What am I trying to distract myself from? What is driving this particular action? What's driving this particular thought, this particular feeling? That's all we doing here. We checking the spirits at the door. Like I promise you, I realized, like, damn, it been spirits that been following me my whole life since I was a baby, and just keeping me in a certain space, keeping me in a certain place, using me as a vessel, allowing the people around me, my family, my friends, shit like that, they was using them as vehicles to do certain things, and really suppress what I was going to become eventually, right? So you got a lot of things around you that you're used to. You got a lot of people around you that you're used to. You got a lot of people that you have bought into and made a part of you. You have a lot of things that you have bought in your world and said, okay, this is a part of me. This is my girlfriend. This is my relationship. This is my house. And you tend to those things and you maintain those things. So it's up to you to say, yo, this ain't working no more. I don't fuck with this like that no more. But if you think it's you, if you think that's just who you are, then you just lost. You feel me? It just ain't, you just be used as a vehicle and you just be blown in the wind and shit. And falling victim just to every other person's agenda. So when you do, and this is the main thing too, like, especially when you're dealing with family and you're dealing with familiarity and the familiar spirits, period. The most familiar spirits you're going to have is the spirits in your family, the spirits in your neighborhood, the spirits in where you came from. Some motherfuckers right now probably saying, God damn, fuck you, because they remember you from when you was in a spiritual realm chilling with them, and now you don't be over there no more, they don't fuck with you like that. That's how it go. So you're going to feel, a lot of times you could really feel like you being attacked and you having things just aimed at you and people just getting rubbed the wrong way, and it just really be a spiritual thing. It just really be the spirits that's inhabiting that vehicle, and you can't take it personal. But you had to keep your sword ready, meaning had to keep your awareness up, had to keep your imagination protected and right. Because we all go through ups and downs. We all go through times where we feel angry, times where we feel like we're not good enough, times where we feel like it ain't gonna work out and shit like that. But we gotta understand that's just a thought. That's just a feeling. That's not who we are, what we are. And I want to make sure I say this too. When we, like I said, and I think I said this in the beginning, but I want to make it clear. What we talk about when we talking about spirits, we talking about something that we give it a name. We use other names and shit as reference points to what it is, but it's not actually that. It's just actually the energy as it is in its natural function as it functions. Like I said, it's up to you to decide if that function is right for you or not, or is dysfunctional for you. But we can't be out here blaming, oh, this person is just fucked up. Yeah, that person might be fucked up and shit like that. That person is just a person that got certain insecurities and certain blind spots and shit like that, and is being used and possessed by certain entities and spirits to function a certain way. But it ain't for us to condemn nobody. That's why I always say you can't judge nobody. But we ain't gonna understand that until we first deal with the spirits that inhabit our vehicles. We got to deal with those spirits first. That's how they become familiar. I didn't get familiar with, I didn't realize I had a spirit of lack until I started to entertain the spirit of abundance. The more I started to do that and started to get away, I started to see like, oh, well, damn, even the people around me have a spirit of lack. That's why we cool. They have a lot of people around me had a spirit of anger. They had a spirit of short-sightedness. They had a spirit of just whatever it was, laziness, whatever the case may be. So as you start to do inventory on these things, you'll start to move away from those things. But those things, those same spirits that you used to fuck with and those other bodies, also known as your friends, family, boss, co-workers and shit like that, they gonna see you and look at you and say, damn, you're not functioning how you used to function. But you don't fuck with us no more. And they could become a op to you. Because now you have become in opposition to it. You're not the energy the function that you using now and the energy that you radiating now is polar opposite to what that spirit like to fuck with, what that spirit like to do. And it's a dirty game. It's a dirty game, man. But if you're not even like spiritually inclined a little bit to know this is what's going on, like I said, you just blowing in the wind. You just going and coming. You just thinking that your thoughts are you. You just think like the first thought that comes, you think, oh, that voice in my head is who I am. You're not realizing like, no, I'm the witness of the thought. I'm the witness of the feeling. I'm the witness of the emotion. I don't have to adhere to it every time. I don't have to follow that inspiration every time. Because it's like a spirit just jumping in your body and using you as an Uber and going where it want to go rather than you saying, oh, I'm going to channel this certain spirit and use it for this. For example, like when I like boxing. So I look at boxers and I say, damn, they have to really cultivated a certain type of spirit to step in that ring and had the balls to fight. Some of them might step in for different reasons. Some of them might just like to get hit. Some of them like to hit people. Some of them like to just box. Some of them like the art of boxing. But it take a certain type of person, it take a certain type of spirit to do that. You know what I mean? So a boxer is over there dealing with certain spirits. A boxer is around certain people. Or a boxer came up a certain type of way. It has a certain mentality. So it entertains certain spirits to get the function done. Because it's a combat sport, meaning somebody gonna probably get hurt. You feel me? That's one of the chances that it's willing to take. So, you just have to, a boxer know that going in the ring. So you gotta know what you dealing with. You gotta know how to train. You gotta know how to do what's necessary so that when it's time to fight or whatever the case may be, you're able to do it. And that's just as simple as it is, man. It's just about literally questioning your own desires, literally dealing with your own insecurities, and being observant of your own emotions and thoughts and shit like that. And this is I'm gonna just have to say this over and over and over and over again. But I just, wanted to say, we outside. We are outside right now. And as we go into 2023 and beyond, it's just the war is getting more and more vicious, meaning Spiritz is jumping in body. Spiritz is being real tough right now. Spiritz is really trying you, you know what I mean? So it's important that you're able to just be able to step away in yourself and be able to do your inventory. Because a lot of these spirits are already familiar with you. A lot of these spirits have been at war with you for eons, been at war with your family lineage and your bloodline and all type of shit, and they know who you are. They know how your lineage function. They know what's in your DNA and shit like that before you know it. So they be putting certain things around you, putting certain people around you, bringing certain influences around you and through you, and you don't even know it. And you'll wind up serving a whole nother purpose in your life than you was really meant to serve. So we here to deal with the spirits. Like it's saying in the Bible, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against higher principalities and higher places, meaning the spirit realm, the unseen realm, higher dimensions, not the body, not just what you could see, touch, smell, and taste and all that kind of shit. You feel me? So, I know it's hard for a lot of people, and this is going to be where a lot of people suffer at, A lot of people don't have time and don't entertain spirituality. Don't believe that it's real. A lot of people still caught up in their fleshly existence. So it's going to be hard for a lot of people. It's going to be hard for a lot of people that's on the fence, that's halfway bullshitting and like, I entertain my spirituality sometimes, but then when I get around this person, I can't do it. If you one of those people, you're going to have it real hard. If you're one of those people that ain't going to be able to stand up to your family or have to turn away from certain people, it's going to be hard for you. Because now you just being used you being used as a vehicle by those spirits that don't serve your agenda, serve your function, and you'll just be a dysfunctional person. And it's a hellish existence when you do have some awareness of the higher dimensions or another space, but you still entertain the spaces you're supposed to move on from, the people you're supposed to move on from, the ideas and mentalities you're supposed to move on from. You still fuck with that while knowing it's better, while knowing there's more. That's the worst. You feel me? So, it's a lot of people that's going to say they into spirituality. They're going to say they's fighting a spiritual war. But the truth about it is, if you're not really into it, if you're not really fucking with it, you're going to be the person that's going to show through. You're going to be the person that got to feel shit. It's not one of those things you could fake. It's not like a game. It's not like a gang. It's not like something you could act out. It's something that you either do or you don't do. You either deal with or you don't deal with. You either use or be used. That's just the nature of this game. And it come up with making a lot of tough decisions. A lot of times it's very hard just to see the same people that you always saw Those same vessels that they've always been manifested through, that you always known, your mom, your dad, your neighborhood and all that, and see the spirits that's behind that, and you be like, damn, it's hard to turn away from these things because the vessels are familiar to me. These spirits are familiar. And like I said, it'll be the people that been around you, it'll be the vessels that you used to dealing with, that'll be the ones that you at war with because they the closest thing to you to get used. That's why people always like, damn, like your own homie betrayed you. That's why Judas betrayed Jesus. Like it was certain desires that Judas had. It was certain insecurities and things that Judas had that Jesus ain't have. You feel me? So Judas was able to be used for an agenda of those spirits. And they like, how did Jesus already say and know that he was going to do that? Jesus already knew because he already seen like this person mentality. He already saw how this person deal with their emotions and shit like that. So it's not hard to see where that person would fold at. That's why when they be like, oh my God, this person snitched, like you knew, you kind of had a feeling that person was going to snitch. You know how that person get down. You know what spirits that person deal with every day. You know that person ain't sturdy. You know what I'm saying? You know that person, as soon as the person come in the interrogation room and say, yo, you gonna do 90 years, your boy over there telling on you right now, you know that the first thing they gonna do is be like, oh shit, I can't do that. I ain't built like that, and just tell. You know what I'm saying? That's spiritual warfare. So it's important to know who you got around you, what you got around you, and what's the function of it and where it's headed. Or not.